I'm Bonnie Roberts, owner of Brooks Coaching. I've known Laurie-Ann for years and have seen her speak on many occasions at events both large and small. So I knew from experience that she's an expert on public speaking. When I saw the announcement for the Signature Speech program, I was excited for the opportunity to learn from Laurie-Ann how to craft my signature speech. From the first meeting, I knew that my investment was money well spent. It was just truly an amazing experience that is propelling my business forward in ways that I never expected. So thank you, Laurie-Ann, for your wisdom and support. I'm excited for the future. So if you're on the fence about enrolling for Laurie-Ann's signature speech program, I say just jump off that fence now and enroll today. You won't regret it.
Well, hello, all my Be in Demand listeners. This is Laurie-Ann, your host, and this is the podcast where I help entrepreneurs just like you leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing, get positioned as the expert, and monetize your message. Today is a special speaker breakthrough session with my friend Julie from across the pond. And if you would like to book your own speaker breakthrough session, stick around to the end. Julie, thank you for joining me this morning. Can you share what do you do and who do you
Yeah.
help?
So I have a very niche, I guess. I'm a psychic business coach and I essentially help mostly female business owners. And I'm here to kind of help them get out of their own way. Energetic blocks, anything, kind of these energy gaps that are in their strategy that they don't know are there. I'm there to look at it, point at it, help clear it, move it, and allow you to kind of get to the next level in what you do in business.
How do you typically get your clients? How do people find you?
So a lot of it's word of mouth. I do run ads. I do kind of call people in that way. But yeah, just really running the same kind of processes, funnels. I love a good webinar. I love a good chat. I love a good kind of secret podcast as well as my kind of vibe. Anything that I can use my voice in, essentially. I've realized that my voice is my superpower. So as soon as I use that, it seems to, I don't know, like a siren call, bring people towards me.
I love that. So, what would you like to get out of this call, our time together?
I would love to know how to use my voice more in terms of being on stage or getting speaker gigs, essentially, because until I was on stage at BBD Live, I'd never been on a stage before. And I loved it. And now I've got the bug and I want to be more visible in that way. And like I say, I know my voice is powerful. So being able to reach more people, to help more people in that way on a stage is a big, shiny light in front of me.
Yes, yes. Okay, so what's getting in the way?
I have no idea where to start, to be honest, like at all. I'm like, how do these people do these things?
And there are, on average today, going to be 20,000 speaking events globally around the world. Now, an event, if you've ever been to a conference that has like 6 or 8 breakout rooms,
Mhm.
it's still considered one event.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though for 6 hours there are 6 different rooms going at the same time, which means, like a total of like, I'm doing pretty simple math here, 36 speakers, it's still considered one event.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot
Yeah,
of opportunity.
it's a lot of opportunity. And here in the US, that number is actually 7,500. So
Mhm.
the US has almost half.
Yeah.
And the associations, and where are you located?
So I'm in the UK, but my audience is literally like 95% US based. So I'm definitely up for being on stage over that side.
Mm, yes. Okay, good. So you've no idea where to start. So it's just the lack of information is basically the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Or how to like pitch. Because there was a couple of things that I pitched here. And I'm so green at pitching that I'm just like, ugh, this is what I do. And it's obviously really floaty and fluffy. It's not clear and cutting through enough, even though my niche is very individual. So it could cut through very quickly if I can get it right.
So in the speaking world, we say, give them what they want.
Mhm.
Okay. And you have to put it in words that whoever is organizing the event is going to understand. So,
Right.
so I find that the people who come onto these speaker breakthrough sessions who have like more woo-woo topics, it can be hard,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that you've done some market research with your people. Like, what is one of the complaints that you hear again and again and again?
The number one complaint is the exhaustion, the energy exhaustion. So like that, I call it the hustle hangover. So we're so in this hustle culture still, even though spiritually, energetically, and I mean, I've seen proof myself and others included, how actually if you sit in the flow state and in the energy, and people call it feminine energy, but that flow energy is so much more powerful. And then you can actually work. So you're not stopping work. It's not like you're not doing anything, but you're not pushing. You're just working in flow. So that is the number one thing that people come to me, even if they don't realize that's what why they're coming. It's like, I think you'll find you're misaligned. So you're just pushing when you don't need to push.
Okay. So when you just said they don't even realize,
Mhm.
when they come to you. So what do they come to you for?
Something's not clicking. Like they'll know that they've got a really good idea, a really good concept, or a thing that completely lights them up. But obviously, a lot of them are going to be spiritually aligned in some way. So they don't have to be spiritual people, but or practitioners. So it doesn't matter what the field is, but they like energy. They know that something's wrong, but they're not sure what that is or what that looks like. So they just want me to pinpoint it and be like, it's this, it's here, it's here.
Right. Hence your psychic abilities. Okay. Let me ask you a couple of other questions. Is speaker in your bio?
Not currently, no.
But it will be tonight, right?
Sure. I've been playing around with my bio all weekend, so I can add it in for sure.
Okay. Your website, do you have a speaker page on your website, which means it's got its own information and the fact that you're a speaker is not included in the About Me page?
No, but I did see someone's page the other day that made me think, oh, I need to add that. So it is on my to-do list. And I did just put on my homepage as soon as you land on my homepage now is me on stage at BBD talking.
Fantastic. I was going to say, yeah, you have to capitalize on that particular photo and that particular opportunity because that's a big stage. There was what, like 1,000 or 1,200 people in the audience.
Yeah. And the names that were on the stage as well, like Catherine Zenkina and Boss Babe. And I'm like, wow, I was on that same bit of material up there.
Yeah, you get to say you shared the stage. Okay. So sometimes, like breaking into the speaking world can seem very challenging. But so if we can just position you as like you have been speaking for years, you've been using your voice for years. So speaker in your bio and all of your social media, a speaker page. Now, some people feel like, yeah, but I don't have like any like pictures or video. Well, that's okay. You still can have a speaker page and you're just going to add on from there. Do you happen to have a podcast?
Yes.
Even better. You're going to love this. Now, I want you to go look at my speaker page. So it's speakandstandout.com/speaker. Nice and
Okay.
simple. I want you to do podcast episodes on the speeches that you're going to offer people.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so here's a couple of things that you'll notice. There are only 3 titles that are offered on that speaker page. We do not want a laundry list because it overwhelms whoever is considering booking you.
Yeah.
So I actually have 2 titles, and there's a podcast episode with both of them. Actually, one of them has 2 episodes. The reason behind this is because if somebody comes and like they're interested in that, I want them to go listen to this podcast episode.
Awesome. Love that.
I've done like behind the scenes of speaking, and you had to prepare your speech for BBD, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. I even hired a studio so that I could go and like walk around.
Good for you. Good for you. I want you to do podcast episodes on that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
like, yes, it was a competition, but you still prepared really well for that competition. And here's all the things that I did. That just speaks volumes. If I'm a meeting planner, conference organizer, and I hear how much effort you put into beforehand, and then like glean the lessons for your audience that's listening to the podcast. So use podcast episodes to help you get more speaking events.
Yeah.
And also your webpage, you might as well take advantage of them also. Plus having a podcast, because well, let me rephrase that. There are so many organizations and they've been burned by the speaker who was the infomercial.
Mm.
So that's why they will say you can't self-promote, but a podcast is free.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to have maybe like a list that you lead your audience with, go listen to these episodes.
Yeah.
So now they're just hearing you, they're putting you like you're in their ears as they're going home, like traveling either on the train, car, or plane, and they're just like falling more and more in love with you. So definitely use your podcast in conjunction with your speaking. And another thing, and I did an episode. So there are 2 episodes that I did last fall. One is the 7 essential ingredients for your speaker page. I would definitely listen to that one. And then the other one is about how to tap into your warm market. Now, do you see what I just did there? Now I'm referring you to my podcast.
Yeah.
And it's just very conversational, but it's instead of us spending a ton of time on like all the other things that you should have on your website, I'm just going to direct you like, go listen to this episode.
Yeah.
And there is a really great episode and it's about tapping into your warm market. I believe that when you're first starting out, to tap into your warm market first, instead of trying to do cold outreaches. And in that episode, I actually like walk you through how to have these really nice conversations with people and even how to reach out to them. But let's talk about when you start doing some, like you hear of a conference, you don't know anybody. So this is truly a cold pitch. It's a little pet peeve of mine for people to say, hey, hire me. Like, and here are the great things that I can talk about, because you have no idea what that conference is actually going to be about. You have no idea if they've already booked all their speakers. Okay. So it's more of what I call the open the door to the conversation. You want to say, hello, I recently was on your website. I see that you have an event that's coming this spring, this summer, this fall that you're planning for. I would love to know what the process is for finding and booking speakers. That simple question, you will get such a response to, versus here's what I speak on and I'm available and let's have it instead of it being about you, make it about them. Because whoever you reach out to might be like, oh, I'm not in charge. I was just in charge of booking the hotel event, the venue. But they'll be more likely to pass you on to the right person. The person that you need to speak to is such and such. I'll forward your email to them.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
And then you're just gathering information, because they might not be booking their speakers yet. That is sort of a thing in the past. I want to say about 9 years now, because of, like certain economic events that have happened. You're seeing a lot of meeting planners and organizers. They actually will have their list of speakers, but they're sort of booking them later because they know that they have to pay their speakers 50% up front in order to hold the date on the calendar.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking is really a long game, and it's about building relationships. So part of that episode about tapping into your warm market, I run you through an exercise, like start listing off all the different associations, masterminds, Facebook groups, all these different places that you already attend and go to, whether they're in person or virtual. Then check off which of these has speakers. Those are the ones I want you to reach out to.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already a member, like in a membership, a private community that brings in speakers and you've got the relationship with the person who is running this membership, they're more likely to say yes to you than somebody else because you've been around for a while. As a matter of fact, I was just on the phone just before we started this call with a friend of mine because there's a group that I'm in for podcasters. And I said, hey, I just got asked to speak next month. I think you'd be a great speaker for the following. And even, like building relationships with other people who are speaking.
Yeah.
'Cause that's exactly what just happened. And he was just like, yeah, I'm all for it. I think that he has a lot that he could offer this particular audience. So I was just like, hey, I'll put a good word in for you. So there we go. Like that's it. It really can snowball very quickly. So where have you spoken?
So I've spoken within, so obviously the BBD stage. I was also on a panel for that as well. And I have also then I've spoken on multiple people's podcasts, like throughout history, as it were, over the last couple of years. And also I've done a couple of guest hosting spots in like smaller like memberships so far, but nothing, I think as well, because my niche has shifted. So it's now very specific in what I do. Whereas before it was like, I do a little bit of business stuff. I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. And a lot of it was very much on the spiritual side, whereas actually what I do is very business direct now, even though it is woo, I'm very straightforward and very down to earth in comparison. So I'd like to kind of build the momentum again from that energy, really.
So I want you to go back to all those places and have those reconnection conversations. You were speaking about, like a little bit of this and a little bit of that back then for those groups. Now you're very specific. So why wouldn't they have you back?
Yeah. Okay.
The people that you were on the panel for, or I should say with, at BBD, have a conversation with all of them. What are they doing? Where else are they speaking? How can you help them? Like, what should you be on the lookout for so that you could refer them? Go to everybody that you've been on a podcast. Every time I'm on a podcast, and I literally was a guest. I did a guest episode on Sunday, and at the end, I'm always like, so who else do you need to know? What other kind of guests do you want? I literally introduced her to 4 people within 24 hours.
Wow. Nice.
I was like here you go. Like I'm such a connector, which is one of my top values. I love having deep connection with people, but also connecting them with the people that they need to know, with some really awesome people. So that's just something that I do, like both for speaking and also for podcast guesting. That's just building relationships with other speakers.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that somebody like you could do, and now I'm going to ask to see if maybe you are doing this. What sort of free training are you doing?
Yeah, so a lot of the free training stuff that I'm doing is definitely podcast based. I'm trying to move a lot of stuff to like secret podcasts or just sort of podcast series so that it's super easy and super consumable. I feel like everyone's just so busy, and it's like, I love a podcast in my ear on my morning dog walk. Like, let me consume content that way. And if I'm doing it, so are they. And I also have a training that's kind of based around the spiritual laws of email selling, which I know is very specific. So that's kind of like webinar based stuff as well. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll share with you what I do, and I actually have one today. I have an event that's every month. It's called the Speaker Circle. And it is, like permission to use this. I will do a 10 to 15 minute training. Everybody who's there, and it's limited by the number of people who can attend for a certain reason. You'll see. Then they can ask me questions on what I just did the training on. If I still have time, then I will open it up to questions about anything about speaking for your business. This is where I'm gathering information, doing a little bit of market research, and now I know what the next month topic might be about because I'm hearing the questions. Then I allow them to all go around the room and introduce themselves, who they are, where they can be found, and what they speak on, because speakers need to know speakers. And that literally gets recorded and then it gets put on my podcast.
Oh, nice.
Just like this is going to be on my podcast.
Yeah. I love that. There's so many ways to repurpose things and do things.
Exactly. So instead of like keeping this secret podcast, like how can we be repurposing? How can we be speaking, building our speaker assets, and also like where else can I use it?
Yeah.
That I'm telling people like, hey, I have this like monthly training. It's open to the public. Come one, come all. I mean, I've got people who show up every single month.
Nice.
Yeah, they love it. And again, it's limited to 12 people because that way everybody has an opportunity to go around the room for 30 seconds and explain who they are.
Do you tell people ahead of time, like what the topic is, or is it just a like, come join, have
Come and
fun?
find out. If you're on the email list, you will find out.
Yeah.
Like today, I'm sharing my strategy for a particular civic organization. And I didn't tell anybody what the civic organization is because there's I want to keep a little bit of a surprise. And at the same time, like, I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. That doesn't work. Well, I want to share with them, like, here's what I do. Here's how I approach it. And here's how you can get the attention of speaker bureaus by using this civic organization.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got a few things lined up for today. That's something. And since you have a podcast, like there's another episode.
Yeah.
And you're really, and the whole point about why I started doing this is because it's a way for my audience to be a part of the show.
Mhm.
That's exactly what this is. This is my audience. You saying yes to this, you're being a part of the show. Lots of fun ideas for your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
definitely.
But definitely to be talking about your speaking
Mhm.
on podcast episodes. When you get booked for something, give people a behind the scenes. Here's what I do, because every speaker is different. It's not you just show up that day or that hour virtually and then you leave. Like there is so much that goes into this. And a lot of people don't realize that. And you can even have organizations that maybe have never hired a speaker before.
Right.
But my goal is for you to look like a pro. And then just be outstanding on the stage. Has this helped you? I know, like, I'm giving you a lot of
A
information.
lot of information, but I love it. I love a lot of information. Yes, it definitely has. And it's kind of it's like relit a fire, because obviously I was on stage on like the first week of December, and that's kind of been my thought process. And yet I've done nothing, and it's now March. So it's definitely relit the fire of like, right, let's really dig into this for Q2 and see where it goes and what doors it can open, because it's a world of possibility, and I just want to be able to reach more people. Like, right, it's all we want to do is just be able to help more people. So
Yes.
okay.
And don't get discouraged. I mean, sometimes it can take a little while to actually hear a yes, but that's why I have opened the door to the conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll just share this story about one of my private clients. One of her goals was to be one of the speakers on the marketing cruise. I mean, like, how fun would that be? Like her getting paid to take a cruise with all these other marketers and network and mingle. And she pitched them.
Mhm.
Crickets. She pitched them the following year. Crickets. Now she's a business storyteller. 3 years in a row, she heard nothing. She didn't give up, because by the 4th year, they said, we want to book you.
Nice.
Now, I look at that and what I reminded her was storytelling probably wasn't a big thing for all those previous years that you pitched them.
Mhm.
It's this year. That's why they open the door to having the conversation, because we've no idea what's on their agenda.
Yeah.
Never
That's
take it
totally-
personal.
No, well, this is it. It's like whether something comes from it, I'd like to at least have started. Like, because right now it's not a yes, it's not a no. It's a blank slate of nothingness. So to at least like move and think about it and position. Because again, energetically, to just be able to position myself and be like, yeah, I am a speaker. That's what I do, is powerful in itself. So yes. Yeah.
Yes. That's the whole reason one of my podcasts is called Be in Demand. We want people saying, you got to get Julie here, not, we need a psychic business coach. Like, no, call Julie. Okay, Julie, what are 2 gold nuggets you're walking away with today?
To update my speaker bio ASAP, like as in putting it into that bio. And also just really thinking about the podcast differently, of like being able to position it and the putting the behind the scenes. Like behind the scenes is very aligned with my astrology and human design energy as well. So I'm like, oh yeah, I love a behind the scenes. I can do that. So that's brilliant. I love that.
Good, fantastic. And would you share with everybody what your podcast is so that now we can all, hold you accountable to holding it behind the scenes?
Check and see that I'm on it. It's called Intuitively Led. So yeah.
Say that one more time.
It's called Intuitively Led.
Intuitively Led. And where can people find you, follow you, learn from you?
The best place is to come over to Instagram, and it's Julie Chandler Psychic on Instagram. Otherwise, the website is juliechandler.co.uk.
Fantastic. And thank you very much for coming on the show. And I hope that to hear your podcast, with some behind the scenes and, like some fun new episodes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me and all the nuggets. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hey, before you go, if you're a coach, a consultant, or a service provider who's tired of hearing crickets on social media and you're ready to make more money, then this is for you. I want to connect with you for a free speaker breakthrough session, just like what you heard. In this 20-minute session, I'm going to help you discover where you're leaving money on the table when it comes to visibility, booking more speaking events, and where to find them. Whatever that block is that is preventing you from moving forward and stepping into that inner speaker of you, then I want you to book a speaker breakthrough session. And all you have to do is go to speakandstandout.com/SBS for speaker breakthrough session. Can't wait to meet you.